I was looking at memes today and I found one that was intriguing. On r/meirl, Jay said, saddest thing about barely anyone wanting kids is some of the best people I know aren't having them, while some super demons are having 7. I've certainly seen them before. It's why I don't go to Walmart anymore. It's why I don't go anywhere where there's going to be families anymore, because they don't control their kids. I was waiting in line for a museum visit, like a childhood museum about dinosaurs. Guy comes in with 2 daughters, doesn't contain them at all. They're already running up and like touching stuff in the exhibits through the fences. The poor person on the desk has to, say something. It just goes to show. I don't know what my point is. I don't like kids. I really don't, and it's because of the people that raise them. Super demons, apparently. Well, in the comments, if you go down, on a positive note, a lot of people grow up and want to be nothing like their parents. That's true, and that's how it always should be. Because if you compare it to yourself, do you want to agree with who you were 7 years ago? All the things you thought, philosophies and belief systems? We change drastically within our own life cycles. I doubt that anyone wants to be their parents. Their parents don't even want the parents. Everyone wants to be better. But we're just coming to understand that more. Probably Age of Aquarius stuff. I don't know. Basically, the plot of Idiocracy. This is kind of why I wanted to make a video. Because Idiocracy, I'm sure we've been referenced to death enough. Well, we're in Idiocracy. We're in Idiocracy. Pretty close to it. I mean, not too far off. I watched the movie recently. I think it was free on YouTube. And by watched, I mean it was background fodder to a video game I was way more invested in and should have been fully invested in. I don't even know why I have to throw something on in the background all the time to fill in that void that never closes. But Idiocracy is a pretty great movie. I'm not going to lie. I'm a stinker. I hate everything. And Idiocracy it's funny because I think whoever was making it was really understood the irony of what he was going for. The kind of it felt a lot like George Orwell in 1984. He was ahead of his time, kind of predicting where things are going to go. I think we kind of all got raised that the dystopia would be a bit more 1984-esque, where you have thought police, but they didn't need thought police. They just made us stupid, which honestly is just as good and a lot less work to do. If you just make everyone stupid, it's more about just wrangling people up, making sure they're in their pens or whatever, rather than controlling their thoughts, which, that's like psychic level shit. Jeez, a lot of work. Got to keep people employed doing that. When the good ones retire, you got to replace them with mind readers and changers. I don't know how the CIA works. So people going through, Idiocracy didn't predict anything. It would just parody what was already happening. Fair. But listen, guys. This is where it comes into context. You need to read history. This is not the first time anything like this has happened. In fact, you could argue that there have been states of idiocracy many, many times in human history. It's just now we've gone on to a global level of things, So when we make jokes about the modern age stupidity, where it's very much involved in these frivolous pursuits like gambling, drugs, etc., we have to realize that wasn't the case back then. People had to be stupid, but they had to be a lot more smart with their time because they just had so much more of it. Now there's so many more distractions. You can easily fill your life up with distractions now. In the 1400s, I mean, you really had to go and seek out entertainment. You had to find entertainment. Otherwise, most stuff was just boring. So I don't think we are arriving at a point of idiocracy. Rather, we're in this point of the cycle again where it's just going to be stupid until someone wants to fix something. And it's not fun being in charge of stupid people at the top. If you've ever been the boss or manager of anywhere, anytime, you'll quickly realize that the stupid people are the worst. I mean, they don't argue with you, which is nice, but you can't rely on them to do anything, which you can only rely on them to not be smart. That's the only factor you have. They're still just as unpredictable as any person. It's just whatever they do is on accident. So it's not fun to be in charge of stupid people. I doubt that people are really loving what they do at the top. This is just the cycle where people have convinced themselves once again that we can somehow wrangle humanity by hiding information and making people dumb. But it's going to break out. It's going to get there. It's going to reverse the cycle once again eventually. I don't know what will cause it, but it'll probably be some sort of new religious movement, or probably we just get to a point where we're like reading each other's minds and stuff, and we can't even really hide the truth at all. So it would be hard to be stupid at that point. Someone I was talking to the other day, talking about IQ, and some people aren't, I don't know how you phrase it in the 4chan whatever culture, 120 IQ. Some people are 80s. Some people are 120s. Whatever. I've never been one to really follow this, but this is kind of the prevailing thought that sticks within our society. Like, this conversation does matter on some sort of level, whether it comes to our political education kind of topics, or if it's more in a how we view people in the workforce, or generally. We do view people as some people being smarter versus others being less smart. So essentially, when we were talking about capitalism, et cetera, and the cycles that bring us up to this point, they were like, well, isn't it kind of the responsibility of the 120 IQers to use the labor and use the resources given to them by the 80 IQers to succeed and to build up their own lives? Because after all, if you build industry, if you build culture, et cetera, that gives people a place to live and things to do. Someone has to own everything. If you're so smart, why not help people? It doesn't ring well with me to say, oh, I have 120 IQ, so it's my duty to use the labor and resources of the 80 IQs to, because I have a feeling when you come into unethical rewards, where you get rewarded for doing shitty things, there comes a point where you're really going to justify what you're doing. Sounds nice. I'm going to have bigger houses. I'm going to have more cars, more resource, but in the return, I'm going to give these 80 IQers a little slice of life compared to mine. They can have an apartment and they can breed if they so choose. Cool. The way I see it, humans haven't fundamentally changed at all. Ever. We still want to just eat something, drink something fresh, sleep, and have sex. That's really what everyone has been up to forever. If you look back in the Stone Age, people pretty motivated to do those things. And you look here to this stage, most people seem pretty motivated to just do those things. So the fundamental needs of the humans haven't changed. What progressively has changed is the level of wealth extraction we've managed to pull out of the earth and our own people. Weapons are made primarily for advances of war, which war is a way that you can extract more resources from somewhere else. You don't have resources yourself. That's the point of war. If you go to ancient Egypt or anywhere, the point of war is that the king would show up and get people a bunch of stuff that he stole from other places to show he's the best. I don't think that's fundamentally changed. I think it's a power play to show your people, I'm awesome, because then they believe in you more, and then you can extract more resources from the people. It's a self-feeding system. So, what has gotten bigger and bigger and better is just the way that we frame how we use people for their extraction, for their resource, their time, their labor, whatever. But the people themselves have not changed at all. And in fact, we've gotten to a point where we've extracted so much resource out of the earth and out of people that we could make food for everyone. We more than certainly could make food for everyone. We more than certainly could build homes for everyone. We more than certainly could build access to fresh water for everyone. Yet even in first world countries, whether it's in Flint, Michigan, or where the fuck I live, you cannot drink the water. If you're rich, you have no problem finding any of those things. Ever. But if you're 120 IQ, isn't it your responsibility to just fucking take charge of the 80 IQer's life? All they want to do is the same thing that everyone's always been wanting to do forever, but I got to make it more complicated because, listen, it's not just about building big houses now. I need big boats and big cars and giant polyamorous families across 7 different countries. I need to be a part of investing in businesses that go to space. I need to be on the forefront of fucking everything for the benefit of really no one. What's benefiting is your bags. Your bags are benefiting. I'm 120 IQ. Isn't it my responsibility for my bags to go up? I don't know, if you're so smart, then why don't you fast forward to the end where you have this self-absorbed life viewpoint where everyone in your life is just a product of whatever you want to get to. Your family is just a means. Be honest, if you're really rich like that and you don't see any benefit in really helping people, merely getting your bags up, that is going to be your fundamental use forever. And you're going to pay some nanny to wipe your butt when you're dying. At least someone's wiping your butt, but you're paying them. And all of a sudden the power imbalance is going to go insane in one direction, but you had your bags. I think what goes around comes around. And people who have that mindset, they end up very alone in the end, surrounded by people that literally only see them for their money. And once they're dead, the money is just dried up. But people who have managed to do something with their life and, I don't know, expand, those people live forever. You hear their names and no one's paying to wipe their butt. They got people willing to. When you're a gross, disgusting old man, it's the most humiliating task in the world. You would have people willing to do that for you because of what you provided. Here's my final point. I don't think we're in an idiocracy. And in fact, I think what's happened is we've just let the people who want more than to just eat, sleep, drink, have sex, the people who want, need, whatever more than that, that greed, that wealth extraction, that king ego, the need to have the highest tower so you can always be dropping rotten eggs on people below you. I believe that's gotten to a point of idiocracy. The people have not changed. They didn't develop the systems. They didn't make social credit scores. They don't give a shit about loans. They fundamentally want to chill. This kind of thinking is separatism that makes the situation seem unsolvable because it's the people that are stupid. I live in a third world country. The poorest people who don't even have resources to educate and bring up even a single child have 10 to 12 kids average. These kids usually grow up to be religious extremists because they have a big network of charity-run Islamic, I don't want to mispronounce that take children in. I'm not against but the preachers and teachers are usually the most vile human beings on earth. They sexually assault these children and mold their minds in such ways that become thoughtless zombies and can be used by these religious scholars to do their bidding. It is interesting when we think about this, that almost every single predominant major religion that asks for money wants you to have a lot of kids. And also the government that asks you for money wants you to have a lot of kids. Maybe the intelligent people are the ones that realize, I'm going to quit feeding the thing I hate, my children. Hope you have a good one.